Hey everybody, welcome to episode number 82 of the Fresh Mondays podcast with your hosts Diana and Marley.
Welcome back. Another quarantine series.
Yes, we're still here.
We're still here. What week is this?
I know that we are for sure doing this since March 13th. So now this is probably week 4, I would say. Solid month.
A month and some change.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing's much has changed on this end as of right now, and we look forward to May 4th is my date for my state.
Okay, I heard New York City is May 15th.
Okay.
Right? And I think that Florida is still up in the air. As you guys have heard, Jacksonville, the beaches are open up there. And everybody's going
state of Florida.
Crazy. Everybody's like going, people are like calling me like, how is it possible that the beaches are open in Florida? I'm like, you really think I have anything to do with this? Like, you're really hitting me up like super aggressive. Like, it's like, okay.
Diana's like, I just live here. I don't make the rules. Everyone's on their own.
No, but you know what I mean? Like the passion that comes through, you're just like, whoa, like you're acting like this is really personal. But to my understanding, it's only in the northern part of Florida. I don't know.
Well, as we always say, South Florida and North Florida or anything above past the South, it's not the same thing. So this is why this happens. Right. Before we move on, don't forget you guys to follow us at Fresh Mondays Pod on Instagram, on Twitter, on our Facebook page as well, Fresh Mondays Podcast. Don't forget to email us at freshmondays.pod@gmail.com. And you can follow me at Love Marley, MARLEY _. And you can follow Diana at
I am Diana C _ I am Diana C _ That's on Instagram. That's the best way to follow me. And you guys, if you guys want to be a part of our show, make sure to hit us up on Fresh Mondays Podcast on any of our social media handles.
Yes. And let's talk about last week, because last week was episode 81. Shit happens. And it's not just the coronavirus. We're talking about like actual shit that happens in people's lives. We were talking about dating. And just to give you guys an update, my cousin gave a fantastic story. If you haven't heard it, go back to episode 81. Because that is it a nightmare date or like a movie date,
it's like a
right?
movie. It was like a movie.
It's like a scripted romantic comedy.
Right.
Which I love.
Right.
My cousin explained to us a Hinge date that she finally went on during the quarantine, and her date took a dump in her house. Needless to say, he is lactose intolerant, so it must have been a lot.
Yeah, but people definitely gotta listen. You gotta listen.
My cousin did share with me though that she did send the episode to the gentleman. And because she is fairly 100% honest and open. And he liked it. He was okay with it. He was okay.
Shout out. Thank you for listening. I hope you're subscribing. I hope you listen to this episode now too.
Yes. He appreciated her honesty, her realism, and they're still on talking terms. That's what matters.
Hey, cool. Right? Okay. They survived
the shit.
Yeah.
Survived the storm, but survived the shit.
Right.
So I'm happy for them and that they're still in those terms. And, she can look past that. And it's a funny, like I said, it's a funny wedding night story or something like that. Like
exactly. That'll be a cute way of meeting for sure. Right. And on update on the person who wrote in their information, they're still talking to the person in Alaska.
Nice.
Yeah, it seems like they really, really are hitting it off. Okay. They're still talking.
I love that. Well, does she know that Alaska is a very long flight?
Oh my God. It's a long flight for no matter where you are. Right. It's Alaska, boy. It doesn't matter where you are. It's far. So that's cool. And also I have a friend that decided to join Hinge because in quarantine, she's like, hey, you know what? People are dating during quarantine. So
yeah. I will say I was hit on at Target by a gentleman, and that was weird and awkward.
Because you're a risk taker, buddy.
Right. Because I definitely had a mask on, and like we're in Target, and he has no mask. He has sunglasses on, and like as if nothing was happening outside. Like as if we were just we're in Target. That's great, yes. But he was full on just like, oh, we just out here. And I'm gonna pick up people, because his pickup line was, do you know if I'm new around here. Do you know if there's anything fun to do? The What? I thought
I
I
don't
was
know
gonna
why
get
he asked if
kidnapped.
it was fun. That was weird. You lost me. I was on his side until he said, "Is there something fun to do around here?" That's fucking awkward right now
He
during the
asked me
pandemic.
if there was something fun to do in the area. I said I'm not from this area because I wasn't. That's not my target. And then every time I named a place that I was from, he would say he was from that place or been to that place. So I almost could have been probably snatched out during this quarantine time. And luckily for me, I have a little switch that reminds me to be like, I have a boyfriend.
Right. Stranger danger.
Stranger danger. So,
Mhm.
oops, sorry, hold on.
Your sound just went weird.
Yeah, this thing is loose. Can you hear me now?
Better. Mhm.
Okay. Yes, super stranger danger. But
Mhm.
I'm out here, guys. Just be careful, ladies. That's just I'm gonna put that out there as the disclaimer and everything. Just be
It,
careful, especially by
it's a little
yourself.
red flaggish.
Very. Especially a
Hmm.
person who doesn't have a mask or any protective gear or like seems very unworried about what's going on.
Right. Exactly.
That's not the
Yeah.
person for you.
Right. Isn't there a rule? Whatever. Anyway, point is, let's give Corona a break and let's talk a little bit more about something progressive and about something that might be a good investment. And I think one of the major things I've noticed is that during this time off that we all have, I think everyone has made, at least has attempted to make a conscious effort to do something with their time right now. Whether it
Yeah.
be, kind of learn a new skill or read a book or kind of catch up on bills or whatever it is, get organized. Everyone is, for the most part, finding ways to kind of make use of this time, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
At least if you haven't, guys, get your ass up.
By like week 4 and you're just like, I gotta
Yeah,
figure it out.
right. You need to do something. Okay.
Mhm.
So another really interesting thing is that we all have learned a lot about new ventures, like for example, CBD. And that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. This new profitable business, which is CBD, how it's really, really good for you in a lot of aspects. And I know that there's always something for us to learn. And this is something that we can all invest in. And also, speaking to a person that's a small business owner during this time when the economy has been hit so hard and what that experience is like.
I would love to hear how this hopefully short term situation might have a long term impact on a business like that, right? Like, what's the end of it? I'm excited to learn more about CBD. I know I'm a trendy pickup kind of person, so I kind of buy and eat whatever that's trendy out there. So I love
Mm-hmm.
to actually learn from
Right.
a professional about it. Well, let's call in our special guest, Patrick, to hear more and learn more.
Awesome.
Working early and working late, trying to fight out of this economic slowdown because everything, honestly, right now that I make is like it comes from my business. So it's kind of a tough moment where, like, I don't know, like 80% of my clients are forced to be shut down, the stores, and I make most of my money in my business from distributing CBD products to other stores. So it's kind of like a really weird moment right now.
Got it. So, well, this is a great start to the conversation because we definitely thank you for joining us first and foremost. Appreciate you taking the time to have this conversation with us. We're super excited to have you on. And I mean, you started right away. We wanted to know what is that impact of like this current situation. We're in our quarantine series, is what we call in these next couple
Mm-hmm.
episodes. So, what is that impact looking like for a brick and mortar store or even an e-commerce store? I'm assuming you do both. How is that impacting you the past couple of weeks?
Well, all right. So I'll start by saying that really for this past year, I started my business March 1st of last year. And I started my business as a distribution service, servicing retail stores, servicing brick and mortar. So like anything from a real cannabis dispensary to a CBD dispensary to a grocery store or pharmacy or just a regular like smoke shop or vape shop. We take products from manufacturers and then we distribute them into those stores. So we have like me myself, I'm a sales rep for my own company. So I go into stores and I sell products in. So like 90% of our revenue has been from stores being open that service like local economy and local customers. So that's the bulk of my business. And then I have a small CBD dispensary and smoke shop here in Little Havana that we just opened this month, kind of like a timely, very poor timing to like launch a retail store. But still 90% of our business is distribution. So I'm feeling the pain right now because literally like at least 60 to 80% of our clients that purchase products, their stores are being forced to close by the police. Some store owners that I know, not my clients, but store owners that I know have been arrested and put in jail for keeping their stores open against police orders. Several customers have had police show up in front of their shops and threaten to throw them in jail if they keep the store open. So it's a really tough time. You know, it's a tough time for everyone. It's tough for my store owners that I know to pay their rent, to break even. And then amidst all of that stress, to make matters worse, the government authorized a certain amount of funding for small businesses, like to meet payroll. And then that program was oversubscribed and the money ran out like super fast. Like you had to really like have all your documents ready like the day that you learned about that program and apply within like, I would say like 7 days, or the money just dried up.
Oh. Is there like a waiting list now for like a second batch of money, or is there something like that going on?
There's a waiting list, a big waiting list.
And that's a loan. So not a grant, or so is, because that's one of the things that concerns me. Like a moment like this, like it hits people, and the last thing a small business or any small business wants to do, any person wants to do, is get a loan, right? Like that's your last factor, because you already have your overhead is already maxed out or whatever. You're trying to meet that or stay within that, and then a loan is just an added factor because it'll impact everyone 4 years down the line. This loan. Right? Like,
but isn't it supposed to be forgiven? That was my understanding.
I'd hope so.
If I'm not understanding correctly, I would love to be corrected, but I understood that this was going to be forgiven. That's not correct?
So you mentioned grant and you mentioned loan. So from what I essentially applied for all the help that there is. So there's one grant, and I think, honestly, I can't really speak well on the grant because I abandoned my efforts in the grant when I realized it was only for 10,000. Not that that's not a large sum of money, but from what I understood, I don't know that the grant was forgivable. And then there's something that I do know a little bit more about. It's called the PPP, the Paycheck Protection Program. And from what the SBA has written down about the PPP, as long as you spend 75% of the PPP on payroll cost, the other 25% you can pay in rent, in overhead, in anything, really. As long as 75% of that loan is spent in payroll taxes, paying your employees, like all the legit payroll stuff that a company has to do when they pay people. If you do it legit, that whole loan can be forgiven.
I see. Okay. So basically, you have been doing everything it takes to kind of just stay alive during this pandemic and this, terrible situation that nobody predicted. Now, what exactly are you doing with like, how are you staying afloat? Like, how are you still doing business?
Like, to just be completely straight up, like essentially like ignoring police orders, like doing everything that police say is not safe, or I'm servicing non-essential industries, which is completely against all public health directives. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm doing everything they're saying not to do. But my response to them, the people telling me not to do it, well, then where's my money? Like, if you're telling me not to work and not to make money, and I'm a small business owner and I need to feed myself, well, like, what is a $1,200 stimulus check going to do for my family? Like, it's not enough. The SBA loan funding is not coming fast enough. So if I'm feeling the pain and I only have myself and my wife on payroll part-time, then I can't even imagine what a company with 10, 50, 100 people are, like what those companies are experiencing right now.
Yeah, because I've been a part of, I work for a company and I've been blessed to still be on there, but my hours cut.
Mm-hmm.
So and that's, they house over 10,000 staff and they have international, big impact on the bigger companies just as much, because the little people below are being kind of cut throughout there. So I can just imagine that impact on a small business is very different. But I've known a lot of people whose hours cut or furloughed for a month, 2 months, because the companies aren't going to be able to, are not prepared for things like this, or weren't just not ready for something like this.
It trickles down.
Just such a trickle down. It's incredible to think of what this looks like in the future.
So surreal. Like every day, it doesn't resonate as true. Like it doesn't feel real to me, because everything that we project out forward in business and in life, it always assumes that things are semi-normal. You know, I would never assume in my lifetime I would live through a situation like this. Like September 11th is like nothing compared to this.
Right. And I mean, I can understand why you say that. And those are two
for me.
different. No. What I mean is, like, those are two completely different environments. However, people associate it with that because it was a catastrophe. So this feels like a catastrophe, even though, you know, there's not like flames and fire in the streets. Like, you still feel like this is a really tragic moment in history. But I think another thing that makes it really, I'm putting myself in your shoes, that would make it difficult for me to just sit here and accept everything, is because all of it sounds so fucking shady. So it's like, on top of everything that's going on, like, this shit sounds so fucking shady that you try your best to not allow that to like interfere with, but you be like, this is bullshit. Like, it's like, I don't know. So many things don't add up. So many things are weird. And it's like, it just makes you feel like, what is really going on? Like, that's the same thing I've been asking Marley since like the very first time to see it. Like, you know, what is really going on here? And that's, I think, makes it even harder.
I get what you're saying in that part. And I think you have to put the two perspectives of protecting yourself in the business aspect and then protecting yourself in the outside world health aspect too, if you choose to accept that.
So now that people, let's say a person does want to purchase CBD products to kind of get through the anxiety of this whole thing, because I think that a lot of this is basically just creating anxiety.
Because you are essential. You are essential.
Right. So this could be in essence essential. You know what I'm saying? However, for those who are not educated and don't really know much about it, give us a little information on like what CBD is and like how it has come to be.
For sure. So most people who like consume cannabis in the traditional form, like smoke weed, or have a medical card, and they consume medical cannabis, they nobody ever really paid attention to CBD, and all the focus was on THC because everybody wanted to get high. And a lot of patients, medical, like marijuana patients and just like recreational users, I think CBD was always this thing like where they'd be like, oh yeah, that's the healthy part of the plant. But all the focus was on how do we get the highest THC strain possible. And just as of December of 2018, Donald Trump signed into act the new Farm Bill, which legalized hemp and all of its derivatives, which is interesting because hemp synthesizes or it grows THC as well as CBD and other cannabinoids with many different names, CBN, CBG. Like I think there's over 100 different cannabinoids, and we're still, like, scientists are still studying all of them and how they impact humans and animals. But what hemp does really well is it concentrates in its buds a lot of CBD, 20% plus CBD. And people, like, researchers have known from Israel to the US, all these different countries have different studies going on cannabis. They have known for a long time that CBD has had some medicinal benefit or use. Like, I think people have been using it for ceasing seizures. I think Charlotte's Web is like one CBD brand that got really popular around the story of this young girl who was using CBD on her to stop her seizures. And actually, the craziest part about this story and how we're bringing CBD into this conversation is actually that girl who popularized CBD just died of coronavirus. So just take a pause there. Like, this is crazy. It's absolutely nuts. Absolutely nuts. But yeah, I mean, honestly, after the 2018 Farm Bill was passed, CBD essentially became legal. And everyone started selling it, from Whole Foods to Rite Aid to smoke shops. to pharmacies. And most people, I think, were actually taking it for like anti-anxiety, for mood, for the ability for CBD to change their mood. And I think that's really interesting, because I think that goes to show you how much demand there really is for cannabis, like all just cannabis in itself, not just CBD. I think people were like, we want weed, and since we can't get weed, we'll settle for CBD, or we'll settle for hemp. And it's really interesting to see how this industry has come about, because like we sell a lot of hemp flower, and people smoke hemp flower just like it's weed. And the reality is it kind of does get you buzzed like weed, but the buzz lasts for like, let's say like 30 minutes max, instead of like a 2-hour experience you might have with the traditional cannabis like THC product. So I would say a big part of the market is there, like recreational hemp use. And then the other side of the market is what you'll find a lot of people using CBD for, is for pain or inflammation in the joints when they use it topically, anti-anxiety. They use it to help them sleep. They use it for, there are so many conditions that supposedly CBD benefits. CBD has a lot of uses. In this time, what I'm hearing from my shops is that actually CBD is in really high demand for the reason you mentioned. I think people are trapped in the house, they're stressed, they're bombarded with negative news, and they're taking CBD for stress and anxiety.
Seeing CBD everywhere. And now everyone has it and everything, and claims it that it has it, and everything. But how do you tell what's real and what's not? How can I differentiate a person who's selling it on Instagram to, like, you know, a brick and mortar? Like, how do you know what's real in CBD?
All right. So it's kind of hard, because no matter how much research you do on a product, it's really tough to tell if the product is like an authentic product, and if what they're claiming is true, because there's so many ways to doctor up like lab reports. So I'll say what you should do, even though it's easy to kind of dupe people, but if you follow like these kind of like 3 or 4 steps, you should be able to weed out like a fake product, or like a product that's really not containing CBD. So I think first off, number one, don't buy CBD on Amazon. Amazon has like an anti-CBD policy. If you have a product that says CBD on it, you can't even like list it on Amazon. So if you type CBD in Amazon, what you'll find is a bunch of products that say hemp oil, 3,000 milligram, hemp oil, X milligram. And really, well, there's like most hemp oil or hemp seed oil doesn't contain CBD. It's like a cooking oil. And so what these people are doing is they're measuring like the weight of the cooking oil and putting it in a bottle, making it look like a CBD oil, and selling it for a lot of money.
Wow. That sounds really fraudulent.
Yeah. Buy it on Amazon. But Noted. Yeah. But essentially what you really want to look for in a CBD product, and it's hard to do like if you're not in a store, but you're going to want to look that product has a lab test. And like, actually, this is a hemp cigarette. It's called Gelato. It's like a terpene infused hemp cigarette. And I'm showing you all corners of the hemp box. And nowhere on here do you see a QR code. And it's super important that a hemp product has a QR code. So this has no QR code. I pick up another box of hemp cigarettes. This is a Redwood Reserves hemp CBD cigarette. And you'll see the QR code right on the bottom. If you scan that QR code, what'll come up is the lab test that actually shows the percentage of CBD concentration that's in that hemp flower. So the lab test will prove, it'll prove to you that what you're smoking in that hemp cigarette is actually CBD-rich hemp flower. And if you don't put a lab test on the product, there's no real way to know that the company's actually giving you what they're saying they're going to give you. First step, buy a product with lab tests linked to QR codes on their package. Second off, you really want to make sure that the product has an expiration date and a batch number. That means that these people actually like receive CBD oil or CBD flower in batches. They test it in batches, and they put out product in batches, so that if one batch has an issue, they can recall that batch. So that means the company's doing it the right way. And then I would say third, honestly trial and error. Like there might be a product that's claiming this much strength and another product claiming the same amount of strength. And they might both be kind of semi-identical products, but without trying them, you won't really know what you like more. Like it can be, it can, there's so many factors in this. Like it could not even be the CBD that you really like in your CBD oil. Like that could be a small component of it. You could really like the trace amounts of THC in that oil that are giving you certain effects. And if you're taking a CBD oil that has zero THC, you might not feel anything. Like you might not like that you're taking this oil and you don't feel any difference in your mood. It's not helping you sleep better. You don't feel like it's relieving your inflammation. And you might try another oil that's like, maybe it tastes like crap, but those trace amounts of THC and other cannabinoids in there are doing something for you.
Talk a little bit about inflammation, because I know right now a lot of people are really trying to find gut health. A lot of people are trying to have better digestion. They want to relieve the inflammation when it comes to their organs as well. Is this only for like joint pain, or does it also help with that type of inflammation as well?
That's interesting. Honestly, I really don't know. But what I do know about like gut health and inflammation is that a good deal of inflammation can be caused by stress. So like mental health, poor mental health and poor like health. If you have poor habits concerning mental health, you could be causing a great deal of gut issues from stress alone. And I never like to give, like, even though my business is CBD, I'm a straight shooter. Like, I don't think CBD is going to solve anyone's problems. Like, I take that back. It can solve a lot of problems, but but when it comes to like something like gut health, yeah, maybe CBD could be like the 10% of the solution type of thing. But like if CBD is helping with the anxiety or helping with like healthy sleep, then I'm still like the proponent of like, are you drinking like 8 glasses of water a day? Are you sweating? Are you meditating? Are you getting 8 hours of sleep? Are your relationships healthy? Because like CBD is not going to reverse like, negative thought patterns for you just because you feel good with a little bit of CBD in your body, And I think that's the danger right now in this space, is that people selling these products, they're pitching it as that
the cure-all, like the end-all cure-all, and that it's always been here and that we're finally using at the best of its capacity. Right. So it's like, that is something that is good to point out, because they're making it seem like this is the best thing since sliced bread. You know what I mean? Like this is what everybody's been waiting on. And you're right, it's good to kind of be informed and understand that this isn't necessarily going to change your life. It's just going to help assist you in certain areas.
Yeah, I think for like most people that's true. Like, but I will say that I have met people doing this business that have come up to me and told me CBD has actually changed their life. Like they were on super like hardcore pharmaceutical painkillers or like whatever their medication was that was doing it for them, that was solving whatever issue they had, was also causing a lot of negative side effects. They told me that they could replace that medication with CBD, and that has changed their life like dramatically. So I think that there are definitely those people in those cases are who have like serious medical issues that are taking CBD, and for whatever's happening, if it's ceasing their seizures or it's getting them off hardcore pain meds, it's improving their quality of life. I honestly think CBD has an application in those realms that's like very medicinal. Actually, a client called and asked me to recommend CBD for her father, who was in his 90s. The client's father just had a surgery, and I told her like, please go talk to your doctor and see what the doctor says, because like your father just had surgery, and I'm over here like kind of like guessing like, oh, maybe you could give him a CBD suppository. And I'm like, well, wait a minute, don't give him anything. Like, go to your doctor and ask your doctor if the doctor thinks a CBD suppository could be helpful for him. Because
I didn't even know they had CBD.
Right, just that product alone.
That was a shocker.
Well, this is actually a really interesting sort of pocket of the cannabis industry, is like CBD for sexual health. And I wasn't recommending the suppository for that 90-year-old guy for sexual health. It was for he had like a surgery or something, and he was having pain there. So I thought that it might help relieve some pain. But there's a company called Foria Wellness, or Foria, Foria, and they specifically like only make cannabis products, like CBD and THC products for sexual health, like from CBD and THC lubricant to suppositories. Like I want to even say they might have made like a CBD or THC infused condom. And
wow.
I think the products.
Why is that supposed to be better than a regular condom? Like what? I
would,
mean, I guess we would have to ask them, right? Because they sell it. My bad.
or try it. I mean, I haven't tried it, so I really can't report back. But from what I understand, THC and CBD, like used in a suppository or even on any of your sexual parts, it can help like increase blood flow to those areas, increase sensitivity. So people using it like that. But from what I understand, it's a really big industry. Like,
Really?
and
Wow, that's it. I've never heard anything like that.
I
yep.
think is this happening a lot with CBD and THC? Like it's just being infused or it's being like implemented in a lot of different industries and parts now because the popularity has grown so much.
Yeah, I think that's like the gimmicky side of it is
Okay.
like, oh, CBD deodorant, and it's like CBD toothpaste, and actually like every single one of those gimmicky products I've looked into, like they all actually have like a little bit of some like relevancy. Like they're not complete gimmicks, but you just feel like really CBD deodorant, like CBD hand sanitizer, like you just feel like they're taking it overboard. The one CBD subset industry that I actually is perfect to bring up here is that same company Foria. They've crafted CBD products for women's menstrual cycles and like menstrual pain, and I think it's CBD and THC, and that's like some from my experience with my wife experimenting with CBD products for like menstrual pain or menstrual cramps. Supposedly, like it really works well. They make like patches.
Wow. I'm
That
not
like
surprised actually that they did that because I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's Whoopi Goldberg, maybe, that she has a cannabis that is meant for women who are going through menstrual cramps.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what her product is for. Because now it's getting to that level. That is like a prescription. You'd be like, well, I just need it for when I have my menstruation, and then you get that, and they prescribe it. Mm-hmm.
I think if you
So
find
I'm not.
the right
Yeah.
niche or the right purposes or the right areas and things that maybe may be necessary, like something I would have never thought about that.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, I might need
And
to
I'm gonna be honest with you, me personally, obviously, I also am part of the smoker community. I think it's better for pain management than taking something. Like if, let's say, I know this is terrible, but if you have like a hangover that you were drinking all night and you have a crazy headache, sometimes if you smoke, it takes the headache away. And that's better than taking 6 Tylenols all day. I'm not saying that it's going to be the situation for everybody, but you know what I'm trying to say? Like you're putting your liver through a lot of work to get rid of a headache when you could have just smoked and your headache would be probably go away and you take a nap. Like it's just the lesser of two evils. That's what I mean. So knowing those type of things from experience, having a more healthy understanding of a product that doesn't have the side effects that THC has is good to know.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
I think so. Patrick, give our listeners your store, where to find you, where to find more of your products, or if they want to get in contact with you, to just everything, all your handles for our listeners.
No, I appreciate that. Yeah, so my main business right now is the first company we started, which is Destino Distribution. And that our handle on Destino Distribution is Destino, DES as in Samuel, TINO, and then Distro, DISTRO. And that's for Instagram. And then for that business, we distribute mostly all CBD products to stores. So that's been going on for a while. And then our retail store, it's like a concept store showroom for our clients to come check out products. That is called Canna Ocho, CANNA Ocho, and we named it Canna Ocho because we married like the word cannabis and the street Calle Ocho in Miami. So Canna Ocho, and we're on Instagram at Canna Ocho too. And
awesome.
Yeah, currently we don't really do much like online business. We're still kind of building that out. We're a very small company. We're celebrating our 1 year anniversary, but hopefully soon.
Well,
That's so awesome. Congratulations. Yes.
Congratulations on 1 year.
Yeah, and it's been one heck of a year to have a year. You know what I mean? Like, this is definitely very unorthodox. So I really wish you guys a lot of luck. And the good thing is, even if you don't have the storefront, you're going to have another way of doing it. Imagine if all you had was a storefront. Scary. You know what I mean? Very scary.
Believe it or not, the storefront kind of bailed out my distribution business in this crisis, because when all my other stores were closed, like that I was distributing products to, at least the storefront could make tiny little sales throughout the crisis and kind of battle us through. But this is really a time where I realized like what being wealthy is, because if your business doesn't have the capital to survive a crisis, like 3 months of capital just sitting, you know, or if you personally don't have 3 to 6 months of cash for your life, even 3 months is not enough. Like, man, you're really not ready for really anything. And like, I'm ashamed to admit that I don't have that money. My business doesn't have that money. And I think I was always operating in overdrive, just like, oh, let's get to the next step. Let's do the next thing. Let's go on this little vacation, like trying to enjoy life in my now I'm 30, but in my 20s. And then something serious like this hits you and you realize, wow, like, you know, that's why my grandparents or my parents or whoever in your life always was telling you have 6 months of money saved, or whatever the adage they were giving you. You start to realize, oh, because they lived through a crisis. They lived through a moment where they couldn't get money, you know, or they couldn't make money. So
absolutely.
I'm learning.
I think all millennials right now, and all of us who have been through, you know, like you said, 9/11 we were teenagers, but as an adult, this crisis is different. And it has taught us why our parents told us to have those emergency funds. And we're going to have those emergency funds from here on out. And our kids are going to have emergency funds without a doubt from here on out after this.
For sure.
Without a doubt. Thank you so much, Patrick, for joining us.
Yes,
thanks so much for having me.
I am super excited to see the streets open again and be able to just walk downstairs to your store, say hi, because you know it's a neighborhood shop, so it's nice to celebrate, you know, small businesses from the neighborhood. You know what I mean?
I appreciate that, and
yes,
I appreciate you guys having me on. Maybe in another year from now or something, we can do another podcast and update.
We would love that.
Yes, yeah. We definitely want to have an update with you every year. We'll do an anniversary episode every time. Thank you so much, Patrick, for joining us. And we'll be in touch. Take care.
Bye.
Thanks for having me.
Bye.
Yeah, so that was interesting information to learn a little about CBD. It's like you're kind of talking to like chemists whenever you talk to people in that space.
Right. I feel like super stupid because you really but when it comes to like THC levels and like what's your flower and like being a smoker is a lot of work and you have to be extremely smart. Like I'm like when they make edibles, like there's a strategic science to it. Like you have to measure and weigh things out. Right. And like I think people just think like, no, you just like people just put whatever amount. No, like there's a science behind this. And I hate science.
It's not like making a Jello shot.
Right. Where you just lose all counts.
Yeah.
The bartender just loses all counts and they're just pouring off the bottle. That's not that. Like you have to actually be like an ounce, you know, blah blah blah, all those things. So
there goes to show how much experience Marley has in the drug game. She was like, you know, that ounce stuff.
Measurements. That thing, conversions. Oh, just the thought of that. But that was very informational. I mean, the small businesses are hurting. And we have to remember there is a trickle-down effect to this. There are some of us who can get through it.
This feels like prohibition a little bit.
There's something about it. Like, I mean, he said he was not following the rules. And for me, That's like, for me, the only rule is like, I ain't wearing this mask or this glove. Him, it's a whole nother level of things. And it
Right.
can impact you for the rest of your life in some way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So for all
You
those
gotta
small
eat.
businesses, I mean, they don't get unemployment. Like, there's no such thing, right? Like, as a small business owner, a 1099. So
Right.
there's a
It's
lot
tough.
of those factors. It's very tough,
Mm-hmm.
but we are, all of you business owners, you're in our thoughts. We are rooting for you guys.
For
I
sure.
know I'm trying to support in every way possible, you know, in any ways that I can buy and purchase something, small restaurants, those kind
I
of
think that's
things.
definitely the only way I've been helping small businesses is really with restaurants. That's all. I mean, that is there another option in certain situations? You know what I mean? I did order a mask from a local Miami designer out here.
That's nice.
I still haven't got it.
But it's the support.
But you know what I'm saying. You know, I'm
Yeah, yeah.
trying, and
You're
but it's
like,
like
I'm under,
that's why you don't
right.
order from, you know.
Yeah, you're like, I'm understanding, but I paid for a service and I would like my, the return, the product that I requested.
Absolutely.
So it's that catch-22. Like, when I order from a restaurant, and it's depending on if it's the driver from the restaurant or if it's Uber Eats, I make sure to tip. Like, there has to be included.
Right. Especially
Sometimes,
now that like supposedly is zero fees. It's not zero fees, guys. All of us have delivery apps and it's not ever zero fees. It's highly expensive to get food delivered through a delivery app. It's
yeah,
like super expensive.
that one cookie costs like $20 to get
Exactly.
to your house. But love to all those small businesses and all of you who are independent workers. We hope you guys are getting through it, and we see the other side of the rainbow, if that's a saying,
Right.
once this is over.
I'm hoping that, May will be rocking and rolling to some degree. And then, I mean, yeah, May, some degree. And then maybe hopefully summertime, some normalization.
Yeah, I think everything, hopefully that's how it goes. In brighter, lighter news, entertainment has still been on and popping in
How
various
about
different ways.
Instagram Live has become like a cable channel? Instagram must be first of all, let's talk about Instagram business. They are living right now because like they're the source of entertainment for everyone.
They're the source of entertainment. But remember, the way Instagram gets paid is by those ads that people run. And some of y'all are running some terrible looking ads. I get it. Everyone's in a moment, but like, strategize and think through what your marketing looks like to get that return. But yes, Instagram Lives.
Oh,
I
and one
have.
more thing. If you're running an ad, give me something to do when I go to your page. Do you feel me? Like, give
Just
me something to do when I go to your page. Like, what is
something.
this?
Why am I landing on this page of nothingness?
That was a gem, by the way. But go ahead.
um, Instagram Live has taken over the entire feed. I have not seen any one of y'all stories. I just want to share this. So don't bother, because I can't get to it because there's 35 people on it live at the same time and I'm not swiping. One, I'm just sharing that because some people said no one's watching my content anymore. Well, there's 35 people ahead of you that are on live and I don't want to click on any of them.
And some of them you stay on their live for like an hour.
Right. And some you get sucked in and it's entertaining. Tory Lane's got girls shaking their ass for $5.
Honestly, okay. Can I be honest with you, Marley?
Go ahead.
Okay. I am woman, hear me roar. I can do what I want with my body. All that jazz.
All that jazz.
I don't love it.
Well, there's a couple women on there that are representing Dominican Republic that I don't want to be a part of. But I get what you're saying. You're not enjoying this. I think these women are particular.
I respect that others find it very entertaining. I'm not hating.
Sure.
I'm sure there's a huge demographic of people who really enjoy this. I can understand why this is appealing. But I don't know. I'm a little I think it's a little too trashy.
Right. But I think a lot of the women who are on there are already women who this is a regular day for them. Like, this is how their shit is shut down. Their businesses is shut down.
Exactly.
They are 1099s. They don't get unemployment.
Exactly. Like, so Diamond the Body. She's like a really popular Instagram person that's also a stripper, I believe. She was on it recently
And so
yeah.
if she's on there and her Cash App is pinned at the bottom, it's what she does on a regular basis.
Right.
I think I go once in a while. My cousins and I join on there because Tory Lanez himself is the funny person. One girl put a hookah in between her booty, and I was like, I'm out. I was
that was the lady, Diamond the Body.
I was like, I'm out.
I
was just here for Tory Lanez's commentary.
Right.
He was singing Not So Raven, like little things like that.
He's entertaining. He's funny. I think he's doing a very good job.
Very good, and a great marketing plan because his album
animated.
came out.
Oh, there you go. Very animated, entertaining. I'm sure he's going to get something with a lot of advertisement opportunities once this is over.
Sure. Other things happening on live, as you guys know, I've been loving the music battles. There was a snafu over this weekend on Saturday with the Babyface and Teddy Riley. I'm a Babyface lover. You know, I love some Eric Clapton and Babyface, some Tony Braxton and Babyface, all the R&B. That was a hilarious snafu that happened over the weekend.
Tell me about it, because I'm gonna be honest with you, I didn't catch it. Like, I woke up, you know how you wake up in the middle of the night and you go on Instagram because you can't sleep?
Yeah.
So I wake up in the middle of the night to see a bunch of funny ass memes about how his sound was terrible.
It was the worst, but needless to say, first of all, I've been waking up at middle of the night every single day this week. 3 a.m. up till about 6, knock out at 6, wake up again later at 10. Like, I'd lost the day.
Insomnia is real.
It's a little bit crazy.
Yeah.
But Teddy Riley decided he was going to have a full-blown production and crew and backup dancer during this Instagram live. Ladies and gentlemen, all you need is your cellular device. It's Instagram Live. It's not that difficult. He had a whole production set up, TV, cameras, people, not a mask in sight, not a glove, not a disinfectant. Anywhere. So Babyface gets in, and Babyface is by himself, a COVID survivor, because this was delayed because he got sick, a survivor of this virus, and is by himself, isolated in his studio with a camera up and one little earpiece in. And he's like, I'm ready to go. I don't know what occurred or what happened. Teddy Riley's music was sounding terrible. It echoed throughout the whole thing. There are over 400,000 people in this live, which I think is the highest number that's ever happened for Instagram.
Wow.
So all the aunties and grandpas and, you know, all the older folks are there. All the younger folks are in there. Records are being broken, and it sounded terrible.
Oh, my God.
Terrible. I felt secondhand embarrassment that I had to log out.
Right.
It's to that extent.
He was just doing too much.
It was doing too much. We're just here to have fun. Everyone's stuck at home. Yeah. Put your phone on and play some music. It's all you had to do. Right. They ended the show. Teddy Riley said, "Oh, we'll be back in 30 minutes." Babyface said, "No, I will not. I'm going to bed." That poor man just survived the virus, as they said.
Yeah.
One meme said, Babyface did not survive COVID to be invited to a fire festival. Right. Like, it's to that. But there will be a rematch later next week. So that should be entertaining. So that's what that whole dilemma was. It was almost an hour of nothingness. Insane. Even in the reggaeton world, there was a battle between Looney Tunes and, is his name Trini? The producer? Well, it was a reggaeton battle to the deaths. So Tego Calderon was playing. All your Winston Yandel throwbacks were happening. So there's a variety of battles happening out there that have just been nostalgic. I think it's really what this is about. Good music, because these are good hits. Everyone's playing their hits, what they've written, what they've done. So it brings you that entertainment. And it's just the simplicity of that music playing for you. And then you're kind of getting to actually know what your favorites are kind of like, which then becomes disappointing. Like Teddy Riley.
Well, I get it, because but you know what, to be honest with you, I think that happens when you meet a lot of famous people, because you have this glorified image of what the person's going to be like, and people be normal, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And you know what's another thing that shocks people is that artists are weird, and that happens. That happens.
Very much happens. Drake is on the internet more now than any other time he's ever been.
I agree.
And you forget, this man, no matter how many rooms he got in that mansion that they showed us on Architect's Digest,
Hmm.
that man is bored in all them rooms
Of
because
course.
he's already used them all up, and he's like the rest of us, watching TV and on y'all Instagram lives commenting.
I have never seen him this active on social media.
Because just like all of us, he
Hmm.
shut down just as much. So a lot of us will fall out of love with the love favorites at the same time.
Yeah, but then again, I also think that it also shows people who are not in the limelight as much, but kind of show their pockets of their personality. And then you're like, oh, this person's actually, it could work the other way. Like, it's like,
Right.
oh, this person's actually cool. I like the way they are, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
But yeah, it's entertainment and we do appreciate it. And I know that I've also been catching up on a lot of interviews as well. Like, for instance, I was watching a Joe Rogan interview with a comedian. He's a black stand up comedian. And he was talking about his beef with Charlemagne. I can't believe I don't remember his name right now. I'm going to look it up.
Donnell Rollins.
Yes.
Oh, they're like back and forth. Which Donna, I haven't watched that episode. I saw that it was. I watched Joe Rogan, guys. Listen, that puts us in a little tier of certain kind of different type of people. There is a personality trait of who you are if you watch Joe Rogan. I
I'm
mean,
not
I
saying
like
I'm
to
like,
dibble and dabble in different areas.
yeah, I'm not saying that I'm like
A fan.
a diehard fan, but like
Right.
if I catch a clip or I catch something, I'll watch it because it's always good. I'm not gonna
Right.
lie, it's always
Yeah.
good. So he was on the show, whatever, and he was talking about his beef with Charlemagne and how Charlemagne's always trying to play him and all sort of shit, and he's tired of it, and they're going back and forth. So that leads into the conversation about when Charlemagne gave the fake ass to Envy. You saw that episode?
Mm-hmm.
Or whatever holiday it was.
Breakfast. Yeah.
And on the Breakfast Club, and he gave him a mold of his ass and his nuts, and
Mm-hmm.
he was like giving him. I thought that was the most classless, disgusting gift a person can give somebody. Once again, I'm a conservative motherfucker. I'm nice. Okay, I thought that shit was classless, disgusting. I didn't like it. I thought it was awkward. If I was in that environment, I would be like, what the fuck is going on here?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I could picture me and you, Marley, working in a studio. Let's manifest this. We're working in a studio. We have a person who is a sound engineer sitting in the room with us, and maybe another person doing the visuals. And then, as a gift, the sound engineer gives anyone in the room
Something like that. Yeah.
an ass. You understand? Like, that is
I'm
just
laughing
like,
because just the thoughts of that happening in front of me, I'd be like, the fuck is happening?
what is going on?
Right. No.
If it's happening to you or to somebody else, you're just going to be like confused. Like, what kind of a joke is this? So aside from that moment of that, I'm not trying to, start to be part of a rumor train, but I also agree that his jokes be like hella gay all the time. And I think him giving that ass to DJ Envy was a very gay action.
That's a hot take. That's an interesting take.
How can you not think that was gay?
I think for me, because I listen every day, because I utilize
And they always say
and
gay
they're always
stuff.
talking about it, and then I listen to almost everything he does, that I didn't take it in that I get where no, I absolutely 100% know where you're coming from and can see how you can put it in that perspective. I think I didn't take it in that way, because I'm like, they're always saying pause, and they're always blah blah blah, like all those jokes are happening. So but I can 100% understand how that can come off that way, and it could be, to each their own.
Look,
But I
if
get it.
that's
I
what they do
absolutely
or
get it.
don't do. The point is that I'm just talking to you like my friend. I feel like that was
Yeah.
it was a homosexual joke.
Yeah.
And I think that what you're trying to say is like, yo, like, don't play like that with me.
Right.
And
Like, I'm not that person.
Right. But in my opinion, I'm like, why is that not okay for that man to say that this is crossing the line for me? You feel me? Like, don't put me
No,
in
absolutely.
these positions.
And that's the great thing about jokes and pranks. You have to know who you're doing this with.
Right.
You have to know, me and you know each other's what jokes we fly off here, right?
Right.
Between you and I. But I don't know if my cousin or aunt or whatever takes that same joke in that same respect. So you have to know each one's limitations, personalities, and what joke you can joke off with and not with those people. Right. So I think that's a 100% true factor. Not everyone can accept that gift. If we were in that room, that gift wouldn't have happened because that's not a part of what we bring in the environment as a part of the gag, right? Like,
I know that I might be crucified for this one day in the future because this is how life works. But if your husband brought a gift like that to a man that you and I both know, I would be like, I think Marley should start paying attention because this is odd. Like, why are you giving him a mold of your anus, ass, and balls?
First off, my husband wouldn't be able to purchase that or even come up with a joke like that without passing it through me. Absolutely not. That is not going on my MasterCard.
That is weird.
That is not delivered to my household, and that is weird. And that's not a Rogan interview. I saw that come up. It's on my YouTube feed, guys.
It's funny. Something to watch.
It's a good
Speaking of YouTube, I have another YouTube recommendation. I know this might be deep, dark conspiracy vibe, but it's called Out of the Shadows. It's on YouTube.
Tell me about it.
It's about media and about the negativity that's in media and how the CIA actually created entertainment to show us subliminal messages as to how we should behave and act. And that it was originally a tactic for psychological manipulation for groups of people is when they first started doing that in movies back in, like in the 40s and stuff like that. So, and it was televised that way. Like they broadcasted that this is what they were doing. And with time, as it became more popular, they stopped publicizing that. However, they never stated that they ever stopped.
Got it. Okay, that's worth watching. It's a documentary style-ish.
Docu-style guy that used to be in Hollywood, now speaking against the corruption in Hollywood. Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's interesting you say that. I saw a job for the CIA and the FBI the other day. But they're like posted jobs at governmentjobs.com, which is all counties, cities, towns post their jobs there. So it's not like deep dark web, but it's there posted for everybody. And I was like, oh, the FBI is nearby, down the street. But anyways, good recommendations. I don't know, I just watched YouTube, guys, and I don't know, I've kind of detached myself. I started reading all these books that I have stashed that I need to actually utilize, and I use my cousin gifted me with the Michelle Obama journal, the journal that goes to the book. She surprised me with it, and I'm utilizing it because I figured what time better than now to journal. True. To connect with how you're feeling, your thoughts are, what have you accomplished with your day, your past, and those kind of things. So I appreciate that, and it's the perfect timing.
It is.
For it. So I'm definitely doing more of that. I think I just got, other than the music portion of the lives and some, podcasts and things like that, I've kind of detached myself from being stuck in Netflix land. I think that's
it comes in waves.
It comes in waves. I'm watching Insecure is now back up, and the Michael Jordan documentary that's coming out is something I'm interested in. So,
me too. I think I'm just interested because of all the hearsay.
Oh, I was a fan.
I'm a fan. I'm not, of course. But what I mean is like, I'm more so like wanting to understand the story as an adult. Because there's a lot of things that we heard as children, but it's very different to take it all in as an adult. So I think that that's what I'm looking forward to.
Exactly. Yeah. And like, you were such a little kid when he won all these games, and like when they won that big game and things like that. So it's very intriguing, and I'm enjoying that. So I'm going to watch. Anything else for this episode? I mean, we have gone around, and I think this gives you a factor of how quarantine is going for us.
Yeah, for sure.
Overall,
I think for sure where I'm at as far as my mental state, I have been bike riding.
Nice.
And that has helped tremendously for a number of reasons. One more so being because I feel like I'm finally getting a lot of sunlight. And there's a direct correlation between your mood and your levels of things that could trigger depression. You actually combat that with the sun. and with vitamin D. It's pretty fascinating that we're like plants and we need it. And me being outside and riding the bike has overall improved my mood and overall improved the way I feel when I wake up in the morning. So that'll be kind of my little takeaway of what I've been doing to survive the quarantine. Got myself a cruiser bike, nothing too crazy. I'm not an athletic, competitive biker.
Not a mountain bike.
No, because I don't want to give off something that's not true.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm simple. My bike is simple. It's nice, but it's simple. It's not like power gear, you know, it's not, no.
10 gear shift.
No, it's not like super crazy. It just says 3 settings, regular bike, nice cushiony seat because I got a big old butt. So I need something that's comfortable. And it's really been good. So if I can give anybody a recommend, or if you have your bike and you haven't even taken it out, which is many people out there, start doing it a couple of times a week.
I love it. For myself, I mean, it snowed here yesterday.
Can't believe it.
Say? It was just gloomy and ugly, so very difficult to leave. But today was 60 and sunny. I took a drive to the furthest Starbucks and only open Starbucks. The line had 50 cars wrapped around, so I just went to Dunkin' Donuts and got a coffee there instead.
Yeah.
But just took long drives, soaked up the sun outside while drinking my coffee, sat outside in our patio, and did that. Every morning before work or during my lunchtime, I'm doing stretches and yoga, and I have resistance bands, you know, set up next to my computer, and utilizing that to really just be active. Right. Bicycles are sold out at the Walmart nearby here and the Target. So that's hard to come by, but I've been forcing myself and then putting myself in doing some sort of activity of anything. And then additionally, I've been reorganizing, buying a shoe rack, buying a bookshelf, buying things like that, just to make it spruce up and make me feel better within is definitely what I've been doing. So for everyone to just take what you have around you and make the best of it in every way, shape, or form.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think that is our episode for this week. Don't forget to follow us on all our social media platforms, Fresh Mondays Pod at gmail.com or Fresh Mondays Podcast everywhere. And we'll definitely see you guys next week.
Yes. We're looking forward to having another conversation with you guys. Thank you so much for being a part of our journey, because you make it easier for us to get through this quarantine.
Yes.
And we wish everyone love, safety, happiness. Remember, this is not over yet. Please stay safe. Please stay healthy. Please try to follow the rules. Please, please, please try your best to practice social distancing. We all know that it's not comfortable, but right now it seems like it's the only answer.
Yes, it is. Have a good one.
Bye, guys.